Hi, I'm Lisa. Welcome back to BioBox Labs. Today we're going to be talking about ecosystems, teamwork in action. Thanks for joining Atticus and me on our hike today in the mountains. But did you know that these mountains are actually an ecosystem? So what is an ecosystem? An ecosystem is a community of living things and their environment that they interact with. So that includes living things such as trees and like the bush behind me, also or animals like Atticus, myself, coyotes that pass through, birds that are landing in the trees, even insects and some of the bacteria that are under the soil. All of these are living things and they interact with their environment. But the environment also includes non-living things like the dirt on the ground and rocks, but also air that we breathe and the weather that we interact with, whether there's light or like a cloudy day like today. Is it a hot day or a cold day? Each one of these are non-living things that make an interaction with the living things and have an impact on them. So in this BioBox, you get to examine ecosystems, and you may choose an ecosystem like the one I'm standing in the mountains, or you may find one at a park. You may find one even on a city block that has trees and living things like that, as well as insects in the ground that interact with the concrete and the buildings. All of those form an ecosystem there. You might even find your ecosystem in your own backyard. So this is what we'll be covering in this BioBox. So now that we're back home, we had a chance to visit the mountain ecosystem, and I've collected a sample from there, some leaves, topsoil, a few things that I've collected from that time. Maybe you went to the park or even went into your backyard, but collect a sample, bring it back in, and now you get an opportunity to build a contraption that many ecologists use to discover hidden creatures inside your ecosystem that you might have never discovered if it had not been for that. So this is called a Berlese Funnel, and it's named after two men that discovered how to get hidden creatures to come out. So we will start with our clear glass jar, and then inside of it we have some alcohol, ethyl alcohol, like rubbing alcohol, that we're going to pour into the bottom. We're just going to pour enough to cover just the bottom of the jar. You just need a little bit. This is going to preserve the organisms that we end up collecting. Next, you're going to take a funnel, set it inside, and then you have a wire mesh that's inside of your box. And this wire mesh, you're going to bend up the corners of it like this, to bend them up a bit, and then you're going to set it inside the funnel, and it will form like a flat shelf inside of the funnel. Once that's ready, then you will take some of your sample leaves, and we're going to set them gently on top. You might want to pull this off to the side before putting it right on top, and set the leaves and some of the collection into the funnel, and now you're going to gently place it right on top of the jar. Next, you're going to place it next to a light. So we're going to set this light here, and mine wasn't quite tall enough, so I got a stack of books to raise the lamp up, and I'm going to turn it on. So what happens is the heat from the lamp causes the organisms to try to move away from the heat. And as they do, they drop into the solution. As they move away from the heat, they get lower and eventually fall through into the solution of ethanol on the bottom. Now we wait overnight, let this sit, and you'll be amazed what organisms you get to discover tomorrow. Hi, we're back. It's now the next day, and we're going to check and see what hidden creatures we've discovered from our ecosystem sample using our Berlese funnel. So let's take off the sample, and let's take a look to see what organisms we can see. And I can see that there are a number that have dropped into our alcohol, and one's actually just hanging out on the side over here. So the best thing to do is first start by looking with your magnifying glass from your first BioBox and see if you can see any extra features on these organisms. You might even be able to tell some of the tiny ones and see some of those kind of interesting organisms. Then what you can do, if they're really tiny ones, you can take the pipette from your BioBox and you can take them and try to suck them up into the pipette and make a slide from them using your clear glass slides. So you can put the sample on your slide and then use your microscope to take a close look at some of these organisms. And you're going to discover there are a lot of hidden organisms that you could not see initially that were hiding inside the ecosystem. So that is what we've looked at today, learning how to use a Berlese funnel and discover hidden creatures, because ecosystems are a community of living organisms, both large like coyotes and plants and trees, but also tiny organisms that live inside of the soil and inside the leaves that we've gotten to discover today. What else is in your BioBox? You get to discover decomposers, Earth's first recyclers, and even build yourself a mini ecosystem inside of a balloon. It's pretty cool. So thank you for joining us today. We're so glad you've been part of this BioBox Labs video. We hope you learned a lot. Let us know what you think on bioboxlabs.com.